Hey guys, Amanda Jane here, and today we're going to talk about turnout. Before we get started, if you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel. Let me know if this is the type of content you want to see so I can keep putting out more content. So, if you're a dancer, you probably already know the importance of having good turnout, especially in ballet. But today I want to chat about, first of all, how we can improve our turnout, and second of all, why having excessive turnout might actually be a bad thing. Good turnout as a dancer allows us to move freely in the lateral planes of motion, basically side to side, which is very much a part of ballet. And it also allows us to lift our legs a little higher, and it's just a very beautiful line visually for us who are watching. So turnout essentially really applies mostly to ballet, but ballet is usually looked at as the foundation of dance before we move into other genres. So a lot of dancers, when I speak to them, are looking to improve their turnout. So what is turnout? Basically, turnout is essentially just having good external hip rotation. So when we're thinking about turnout, we want to think about improving our strength in those hip abductor muscles. A lot of times when we think of turnout, we think of flexibility. Flexibility is definitely important, but it's also important to gain strength within those hip abduction muscles rather than just flexibility. Is oftentimes dancers will be super flexible without strength, which can potentially lead to injury. So we want to be flexible, yes, but we also want to be strong in these positions, which will help us to not turn out from our knees. When we're not strong in that hip abduction, then a lot of us use our knees, which is definitely not good, especially if we don't want to suffer from knee pain and knee injuries for the rest of our life. Yeah. So, yeah, let's get into it. First exercise, glute med release. So grab a lacrosse ball or a roller ball and roll out those side butts. Our side butts are one of our main sources for turnout. So before we begin, a little rolling out will help bring blood flow to the area and also release any previous tensions you may be holding there. All right, next we have glute med side raises, which I know it seems counterintuitive because we're working on turning out, but for this exercise, we'll actually want to lay on our side and turn that toe in to target that glute med. All right, on to froggies. Froggies force our hips into that turned out position. So keep those feet together and lift those knees off the ground by activating your glutes. This will encourage your mind-muscle connection to practice engaging those glutes in your turnout. Okay, next we have 90-90 glute med liftoffs and 90-90 pails and rails. So pails and rails basically is isometric angular loading. So as you can see, I'm pushing my ankle into the ground, kind of, you can see it. And then what I'm gonna do is lift my ankle up off the ground. It might not even look like it's moving, but basically I'm creating strength in this position. For the lift off, I'm gonna wanna lift my back leg up and off the ground in order to target that glute med. All right, so have you ever seen a dancer walk like a duck? Basically, with their feet turned out, and that's just like how they exist all the time. So walking and living in that space basically means that we're not strong or comfortable in that neutral position with our feet facing forward. If we're not strong and comfortable in that neutral position, then that could potentially lead to injuries. And also, it really prevents us from being able to take on other dance forms that maybe don't utilize the turnout as much, like modern dance or contemporary or tap, right? We're not really living in our turnout in those styles of dance. So being able to return back to neutral is super important, right? If for whatever reason, fingers crossed, knock on wood, we happen to land arbitrarily in those positions, in more of a neutral or in a turned in position, we're not going to be strong there, and that could potentially lead to injury. The positions you don't train in, the positions you're not strong in, are the positions that will give us problems and might potentially give us injuries. Again, we can't predict things. We can't predict how we're going to land or how we're going to fall. We can't predict injuries, but we can definitely try to mitigate injuries. So if that is you walking with your feet excessively turned out, I highly recommend trying to correct it, but trying to correct it slowly. So friends, if you found this helpful, please give it a thumbs up, please subscribe, click the notification button, do all the things. Let me know if you liked this content, if you found it helpful, so that I can continue to produce more for you.